At Texas Roadhouse in Fort Myers, where she met and worked with the other 5 friends and employees inside that car. Now, friends and family will honor her memory today with a service that is set to take place at 10 a.m. Of course, Fox 4 will be inside and give you all the details on that funeral service as we start to lay to rest some of those teens from that crash. We'll have all that information on our website at fox4now.com. For now, live here in Lehigh Acres, John Barron, Fox 4.
All right, John, thank you very much. Well, 2 more people were arrested and will be charged in a shooting that happened in Naples last month. Collier County deputies say 38-year-old Ryan Toranzo and 36-year-old Rebecca Gabby were arrested in New Jersey yesterday. Now, this was the shooting that happened on Immokalee Road and Twin Eagles Boulevard that led to a crash and injured 2 people. Toranzo will be charged with attempted murder and shooting into an occupied vehicle. Gabby will be charged with crimes that have to do with custody of children. You see, investigators say she is the ex-wife of one of the people who was in the other car and was injured in the crash. A third person, 28-year-old Julian Mendez-Wolf, was arrested last month on attempted murder charges, and he's been in the Collier County Jail ever since. Well, there will be a vigil tonight for the Port Charlotte man who was shot and killed on Wednesday. Matthew Hansen's family tells Fox 4 an argument over fireworks led to his death. They say Hansen, a father of 4, had a tense relationship with his neighbor, and when a firework from Hansen's yard landed in his neighbor's yard, the argument reached a boiling point. Angelica Romero, who is the mother of one of Hansen's children, was there when the shooting happened.
He asked to get up. He didn't want to lay down, so we took him over to the chair on the front porch, and I was trying to hold pressure on it, and I watched him go.
The vigil will be tonight on Corrine Avenue. The Charlotte County Sheriff's Office says that neighbor has been cooperating with their investigation, and right now deputies have not arrested anyone. And no one has been arrested in the 4th of July shooting in Fort Myers at the Culvers on 6 Mile Cypress Parkway. A manager at the restaurant tells Fox 4 the victim was an employee who was shot while he was working. The manager says he is recovering. 6:06 is the time right now. There's another delay in the case against the former Fort Myers teacher and lacrosse coach who is charged with lewd contact with a child. Former Canterbury teacher Thomas Dean got a new attorney yesterday, and that was part of the reason he will get a little more time to negotiate a plea deal. The judge set an August 10th deadline for a deal, and if one cannot be reached, then the case will continue toward trial. He was arrested in December of 2021 and faces more than 40 counts that include lewd contact with a child and possession of child pornography. All right, take a look at this video. You may remember it from last year. The Lee County Sheriff's Office says it arrested this 10-year-old boy and charged him with making a threat at a school, then posted this video of him online. Now, we decided to blur his face because he is so young. This morning, that child will be in court. Lee County Courthouse right now. It hasn't quite opened up yet, but the boy will be here at 9 for what is basically a criminal trial, but there will be no jury, so the judge will make a decision on his guilt. Investigators say the boy sent text messages to another student in May of last year that included a picture of money, guns, and then there was a separate message that said, "Get ready for water day." That was something the school was doing. The boy's father says the messages were innocent, and the Foundation Against the Intolerance of Racism says the Lee County Sheriff's Office violated the boy's civil rights by posting that video that showed his face. Sheriff Carmine Marcino, though, says the messages were a criminal threat under the law. Our crew will be there at the courthouse today. We'll let you know what happens. A convicted murderer will also be in a Lee County courtroom this morning for day 2 of a hearing to see if he'll get a new sentence. You see, Eddie Ferguson shot and killed Yvonne Martini during a robbery in 1987. Now, at the time, he was 16 years old. When he was convicted, a judge sentenced him to spend the rest of his life in prison. But since then, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that no one younger than 18 can be sentenced to life in prison. So he's asking for a new sentence. That hearing started yesterday. Today, a judge will hear from Martini's family. Well, this morning, some people who live in South Cape Coral say they are worried about a new car wash that's going up near a canal. Fox 4's Colton Chavez spoke to a person who lives near there and says for a year now, they've been trying to get the city to do something about it.
I see the canal getting decimated.
I mean, quite honestly, there's a lot across the street they could have purchased.
Plans for a Tommy's Express car wash, Carrie Richardson feels, could have been placed anywhere else along Santa Barbara. But now, the day-to-day for him.
I wake up at 6:45 every morning to the beep, 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 beep of all the equipment.
A signaling reminder of what's to come, now that Richardson said the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers has approved the car wash's federal permit, which the city of Cape Coral says also allows the developer to fill in 80 square feet of this canal.
You see where the red line is? The pole
right
with the
there?
red line all the way across.
Where the fence line is right
Yep.
here.
And then they're going to fill it with a seawall and a slope.
Where Carrie said he will not have enough room to undock his boat.
The only recommendation I had was, hey, Mr. Richardson, you need to accommodate business in the city of Cape Coral. You need to sell the boat and buy a smaller one.
That's what the city told you?
Yeah, that's what the city told me.
I asked the City of Cape Coral spokesperson Melissa Mickey if this recommendation from the city was true. Mickey in part telling me in her emailed response, we did not tell him to, quote, buy a smaller boat. Mickey adding the permit to fill 80 square feet of the canal was approved by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, and according to the city records, Mickey says all plans were properly submitted. Some neighbors we spoke with still feel the car wash will have a negative impact on wildlife, like the manatees they say frequent this canal. I spoke through email with David Rudderman, he's from the Army Corps corporate office, asking him to address these concerns. Now, as Rudderman says he's working on an update for us, what Carrie says he's continuing to hear
Hear the same thing again over and over again is, hey, we're sorry, there's nothing we can do.
That was Colton Chavez reporting. The city says as long as the car wash follows every local guideline and has all its permits, it cannot keep the business from building there. 2 people are charged with running a mobile meth lab in Florida, and it was in a place where just about anyone could have run into it. And since Hurricane Ian, developers have been buying up land in southwest Florida, but a group of people in Pine Island were able to stop a developer from building new housing. We'll tell you why they did it.
Right now, a few showers and thunderstorms dying out near Collier County, and this is just the start. More wet weather expected here today. We'll tell you the timeline and what we can expect as we get closer and closer here to the weekend.
I totaled my truck. It was a really gnarly accident. I called Fair and Fair first, and then from there it went very fast. My legal team, they were like bulldogs. They just didn't take no for an answer. It just made me feel like I was really dealing with professionals.
First. 6:15 is the time right now. Let's get a look at the top stories we're tracking for you. In the next few hours, President Joe Biden is expected to deliver a major speech on health care. According to Politico, he'll propose new rules for short-term insurance plans. That move will curtail a Trump-era policy that critics say undermined the Affordable Care Act. President Biden is also expected to talk about ways to lower health care costs and crack down on junk fees. The U.S. is making a major step forward in the fight against Alzheimer's disease. Yesterday, the Food and Drug Administration granted full approval for the drug Leqembi. It allows Medicare and other insurers to begin paying for it. It is the first medicine that's been clinically proven to slow cognitive decline in patients who have moderate symptoms. This morning, a potential legal battle is brewing between Twitter and Meta. The Elon Musk-owned company is threatening to sue Meta over that company's new text-based app called Threads. A letter accuses Meta of using Twitter's trade secrets and hiring former Twitter employees to develop the app. Now, Meta denies those claims. A group of people on Pine Island are working to preserve their slice of paradise after Hurricane Ian. You know, when they found out a major developer had plans to buy the only golf course on the island and turn it into a huge housing development, they rallied together and they bought all of this land themselves. Fox 4's Ryan Kruger shows us how they hope their story will inspire other communities.
With an eagle-eye view of the Alden Pines golf course on Pine Island, you can still see much of the destruction left behind from Hurricane Ian.
There's still trees down on certain areas of the course. The clubhouse roof, part of it was torn off.
The Alden Pines Golf Club is the only golf course on Pine Island, and of course it suffered significant damage from Hurricane Ian. Here we are, more than 9 months later, it's still closed to the public.
The owners were waiting on an insurance settlement before really doing anything. So the Alden Pines residents took it upon themselves to do a lot of that cleanup.
And then came the news of a major developer with plans to replace the greens and bunkers with more than 70 homes.
Everybody here on the golf course bought property to live on a golf course, not back up to other homes.
So the residents pooled together their money and have now agreed to buy the golf course from the Sarasota-based owner.
The thing that we wanted to do is hold our own destiny in our own hands.
Once ownership officially changes hands, the plan is to revitalize and lengthen the 18-hole golf course. Right now, there's no timetable for when they will reopen to the public, but neighbors tell me it's less about the game of golf and more about their island life.
I think everybody needs to protect their way of life, especially in growing areas of the country like this.
We're hoping that this and other incentives will lead people to do what we did and preserve our little slice of paradise.
On Pine Island, Ryan Kruger, Fox 4.
And there are new ideas about how to rebuild part of Captiva this morning. South Seas Resort has talked about building taller and not having density restrictions as a way to be more resilient against future storms. But the Sanibel Captiva Conservation Commission is against those changes. The group just released a list of principles that they say would actually maintain resiliency on